What is the value renaissance, and why are we in the value renaissance now? Tune in as Chad Quinn, CEO of Ecosystems, and Nick Mehta, CEO of Gainsight, discuss the historical time period happening now.
I want to start with a metaphor around the Renaissance. Europe's Renaissance was known for how fertile the ideas were, how passionate people were, the proclivity of new interesting ideas that were coming from culture and art and philosophy and religion. And if you think about it, gosh, aren't we in a value renaissance where these fertile discussions are now happening in product and how we design the product and customer success and how we deliver on that value and sales and how we consult to that value and marketing and how we position that value. It feels like we're in a bit of a value renaissance. And so Nick, maybe help anchor us on why are we in this renaissance? What are some of the market forces that are creating this fervent energy? And what are some observations that you're seeing around it?
Yeah, absolutely. It does feel, I think it's a great analogy. You and I both like to nerd out about history and philosophy. And I think there's something here because I do think that, there have been pioneers working on value for a long time, including Chad, not to flatter you, but yourself, right? Like people like you and many people I saw on this Zoom meeting have been at this a long time, right? It's not like you're just getting started, but it feels like there's more awareness in general. And I think there's probably a few things that are conspiring to drive that awareness and maybe more business impact too. One is clearly the business model change, right? We all know it's just like the SaaS business model just puts the power in the hands of the customer and forces them to say, hey, if I'm not getting value, then I'm going to go do something else, right? We all know that. I think the second one is though the fact that technology, the kind of cost to build technology has dropped so much that there's so many alternatives out there. And so therefore you constantly have alternatives to whatever you're doing. And those alternatives offer things that might be better, faster, and cheaper. And so there's always this question of value. Whatever you're buying and spending money on, you're constantly saying, okay, well, I love it, but what can we do to do it even better and cheaper and faster, right? So no matter how well you're doing, there's always somebody coming after you. There's always like a Y Combinator startup trying to put your business out of business, right? And come in with better value. So I think that's showing up. And then third, as we all know, is before it was hard for us as vendors to see or even intuit the value because of that firewall, both metaphorically and physically between us and our customers with on-premise software. And now, especially for our cloud businesses, we have some more breadcrumb trails of sort of what customers are doing and some hypotheses of value. So to me, change in business model, more alternatives, and more data, those all allow value to go from kind of pioneers and maybe one day cross the chasm.